Oh yeah, strap with me now, Supergirl. The whole world's watching you. Through the cosmic scars, Lobo laughing while Momoa's stealing scenes, but the critics swinging hard with the super horrendous dreams. Score sitting low at 57 on the vine. Metacritic 50 feeling borderline. God put the future on this rocket ride. 1 weekend and the whole DCU could slide. Supergirl, rise up, light the fuse tonight. DCU future riding on your flight. Break those chains, make the money flow. Funk rock salvation, steal the whole damn show. Supergirl, Supergirl, this is Paramount. Hit that box, so watch the empire come down. Prove it out, shake the ground beneath your feet. Swamp, pop, warrior, bring the heat. Woo. Bring the heat. Pre-sales cooled off, tracking numbers dropping fast. From 55 dreams down to a shaky cast. Toy Story lingering, stealing all the screens. Budget heavy, market push, feeling mean. Alcott's holding strong with that attitude glare. But the script's a gamble in this high stakes air. Revenge across the galaxy, dog by her side. Need the crowds to rally or it's a one-way dive. Ooh. Supergirl, rise up, light the fuse tonight. DCU future riding on your flight. Break those chains, make the money flow. Funk rock salvation, steal the whole damn show. Supergirl, Supergirl, this is Paramount. Hit that box, so watch the empire come down. Prove it out, shake the ground beneath your feet. Swamp, pop, warrior, bring the heat. Ooh. Oh, carrot cape heavy with the weight of it all. Stars calling your name, but the real war's at the mall. Word on the street, gotta turn this tide. Audience, let it burn worldwide. Rise up, yeah, feel that groove. Supergirl, rise up. Supergirl, rise up. Supergirl, rise up. Light the fuse tonight. Rise up. DCU hanging on. Give them all your fight. Break those chains. Let the ticket sales ignite. Funk, rock warrior on the spotlight. Supergirl, Supergirl. Paramount call. Make them believe or watch the whole thing fall. Move it out, shake the ground, bring the heat. DCU forever on these funky streets. Woo! Bring the heat. Supergirl, the whole world watching you. Millie Alcott bringing that fire from the stars. Carazoriel tearing through the cosmic scars. Lobo laughing wild, Mumbo was stealing scenes, but the critics swinging hard with the super horrendous dreams. Score sitting low at 57 on the vine. Metacritic 50 feeling borderline. Gun put the future on this rocky ride. 1 weekend and the whole DCU could slide. Supergirl, rise up, light the fuse tonight. DCU future riding on your flight. empire come down. Move it out, shake the ground beneath your feet. Swamp Pop Warrior, bring the heat. Pre-sales cooled off, tracking numbers dropping fast. From 55 dreams down to a shaky cash. Toy Story lingering, stealing all the screens. Budget heavy, market push, feeling mean. Now Cox holding strong with that attitude blare. But the scripts are gambling this high stakes here. Revenge across the galaxy, dog by your side. Need the crowds to rally or it's a one-way guide. Supergirl, rise up, light the fuse tonight. DCU future.
Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. What a day it has been, especially if you've been trying to follow any of the craziness going on with the release of Supergirl, the latest of the DCU underneath the tutelage, the governorship of the stewardship, if you will, of one James T. Gunn. I don't know if T is his middle name or not, but I think for the sake of this argument, he's gonna, I don't know. It's crazy, guys. I was not expecting today to happen, to be honest with you. I was expecting business as usual, right? I was expecting people to go and see this movie and come out and be like, it's pretty based. It's pretty good. The haters are wrong. Millie Alcock is great. I mean, they are saying that, by the way. But boy. It's dire out there, folks. It's absolutely dire out there. And we're going to talk about that tonight as well. A lot of stuff going on. I think one of the things we have to remember here is that, you know, this movie is not your personality. This movie, the DCU, is not your personality. If you somehow have wrapped up your identity in either this version of DC or the DCEU, you maybe want to take a step back, go touch some grass, and maybe, I don't know, like get off the internet because it might be impacting your mental health. I'm not saying that to anyone specifically in the chat right now, but there's one special person who's on social media that's out there saying that all of this discussion, all of this discourse, everything surrounding this movie not having a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes and people criticizing it, and he can't fight back against all of the people that are coming out against the movie because they find it to be mediocre, is saying that he has got to go and get off social media because it's a little bit too much for his mental health. Never mind the fucking fact that this bitch boy motherfucker stalks, bullies, and harasses anyone who has a difference of opinion than him. And he's out there playing the victim about, my fucking mental health. My fucking mental health. Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That's what I'm saying to that shit. Mostly I'm saying this because that little bitch specifically, you know, has people that want to like gut me like a pig in his audience, and doesn't seem to be disavowing any bit of that. Whatever. All right, take a quick look here at some of the supers that are jumping off. All right, let's see. We've got Rational for Tenor. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Saying critics shitting on Snyderverse DCEU is one of the reasons why DC rebooted its film universe in the first place. Critics at this point need to just shut the fuck up and enjoy DC. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to disagree a little bit on it. Again, we have to be honest here. We have to be realistic. Let me just be honest. Okay. There's always a level of hyperbole. There's always a level of shit posting that happens with this kind of stuff. Okay. The online discourse nowadays is entirely metered in hyperbole. Okay. It's like that's what it is. All right. Like, and you have to do it. You know, people get mad at me for my tweets, but like I legitimately use Grok's own fucking, or Twitter's own algorithm and how they weight posts to like figure out how to best format the posts to get the most attention, because you have to do that. Right. And the money's been pretty good. I can't complain. But that being said, the studios don't give a shit about fucking critic scores. You have to understand that. You have to remember that the studio doesn't care that fucking Supergirl is sitting at a 56. Is it ideal? No, but at the end of the day, they don't care, right? They don't give a shit. What they want is that fucking box office dollar. Okay, that's all they want. That's all they care about, Rational. They don't care about if it has a high critic score, because they know that comes and goes. It ebbs, it flows, all right? It's very much a situation where it doesn't necessarily matter the way that a lot of people out there want it to matter. It just doesn't matter like that. The critics can come out and shit on everything they want. They shat on all of the Resident Evil movies. We got 6 of them. All right. They shat on the Fast and Furious films. We've gotten fucking 9 of them. Okay. Like, they don't matter. What matters is the money. Show me the money, Lebowski. That is the only metric that matters. The almighty dollar. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing that fucking matters is the almighty dollar. And let me explain. So over here, I found this screenshot here. So Sean Robbins, I guess, is a box office guy. He says here in a headline, I'm just looking at the headline, box office weekend forecast, Pixar's Toy Story 5 looks to continue the reign. I mean, that's obviously true. Supergirl, $34 million. Jackass Best and Last, $8.5 million to land between major holiday movie going windows. All right. Disney and Pixar's latest summer blockbuster is eyeing another 65 to 70 million plus in its second weekend. All right. But he's saying that Supergirl is looking at a $34 million opening weekend. Now, that is down from the estimates that we've seen. Initially, it was $65 to $75 million. And then it was $55 to $65 million. Now it's $45 to $55 million, with some estimates putting it in the $50 million range. Now it's $34 million, depending on the estimate in the model you're looking at, right? Based upon pre-sales and things like that. So what we know, what we can see, what we can gather, what we can witness is that in everything that's going on, Supergirl is in fact trending downward in its opening estimate, right? Now, studios do like to have the high estimate at first in order to try to push for pre-sales to go up, because if a movie appears to be successful, there is a psychological response to that people will want to go support something that's successful because they don't want to feel like they're left out in the cold. But if a movie bombs, then people generally don't tend to go see it because they don't want to support a loser. I will say, in the case of, let's say, Masters of the Universe, that actually proves to kind of be the interim, or the opposite. Sorry, not the interim, the opposite, because people are millions upon millions. It's lesser for the theaters, and as time goes on, then that number starts to kind of even out. I remember back when I was working at the drive-in, I think Harry Potter, for the first couple weeks, we were paying like 78 cents on the dollar to Warner Brothers. We charged $6 a ticket back in 2001, and we were doing like 78 cents on the dollar. Okay. Now, so we've got that, right? And then, of course, there's going to be the PVOD, which will most likely happen by the end of July. I'm going to call it right now. If this movie fails to connect in the opening weekends, we will see this on PVOD within a month. Okay. Now, the reason why we're going to see this on PVOD in a month is not because they're trying to undercut Supergirl. It's because it's more valuable to the company to get it out on PVOD, to make that money off of streaming, to make that money off of digital rentals, and then, of course, get it out there, with fucking HBO Max and everything else. But not only that, they also have the opportunity to sell the movie to hotels and cruise ships and the other types of ancillary places where they're going to be able to make a lot of money off of these particular films. And so that's a big part of it. That is a big part of it. They'll be able to make a lot of money that will probably really help get the film into at least some kind of manageable financial situation or outcome. Is it going to be the, 612 or 20, whatever the fuck it was, $615 million worldwide gross that Superman got last year? Not even remotely. It may not even do half of that. All right. This movie is coming out, as I keep saying, at the worst possible time. And the reviews now are looking, they've more or less like lined up the entire crew and cast of this movie in front of a critic firing squad, and that might have impact on the money. but we'll have to wait and see. I do think that there's going to be strong word of mouth amongst comic fans that might be able to move the needle a little bit, but you're not getting families. And what cracks me up about this are the people that have said to me today, well, this movie isn't made for families. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? It's clearly a movie that is made to bring families. Like, that's kind of the whole fucking point. Now, granted, it's not necessarily young kids, it's older kids, right? Like, let's say, for example, if Sean O'Rourke takes his 6-year-old daughter to see this movie, like, he's going to make at least 5 YouTube shorts complaining about the amount of swearing in the movie and then blame that on James Gunn. I mean, that, Sean, if you're listening, that's exactly what you're going to do, buddy. Like, you did that with Masters of the... Okay, hold up. I got to pause on this. Sorry, Sean, I got to call you out. You did a short video complaining about fucking the amount of swearing or innuendo in Masters of the Universe, and then made a joke about that to me privately. All right, I'm just calling that out, man. It's like, come on, dude. I get it. You took your kid. You don't want your kid hearing that shit. I understand that shit. But it's like, it's a PG-13 movie, okay? Your daughter's 6. It's like, you're going to have to be, come on, man. Like, you got to know. You got to know. You got to know. All right? Like, I was listening to music videos with my daughters earlier, and like the uncensored Sabrina Carpenter shit came on, and I was like, oh crap, better turn that off, Anyway, my whole point is that these movies make money in a ton of different ways. And this one specifically is going to probably make more money on the home video market than it is theatrical. Just saying. H-Bart's for a $5. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Says, even though I like Millie, good to see a DCU project get bad reviews. To shut up Gunners. I know one who was throwing a fit named Donovan. Donovan is definitely throwing, he's not throwing a tantrum entirely, not yet. He is, he is containing the tantrum online. And you can absolutely tell. It's really funny. He only screenshotted me once today. All right. And that was a screenshot. That was the tweet where I said James Gunn should probably write all of these fucking movies. Not, have him write it, not direct it, but have him write everything. And I think that would do better for the DCU as time goes on. Let James write, let James cook, but keep him out of the goddamn public spotlight. That's what I want, him chained to a desk and writing. It's like, all right, bitch, you want to run this shit? Cool. Write everything. Because the lady who wrote Supergirl, I don't think she's going to do Batman Brave and the Bold. No, sorry, that's Christina Hodson. I don't think she's going to do Wonder Woman, and I don't think she's going to do Teen Titans. They're going to get a new writer on those projects. Because what is the number one thing that's being attacked in these reviews? The writing, the story, the non-existent story is what a lot of the complaints are. And as a result of that, it's not really going to bode well for her career, because I've seen a fair amount of people come out today and be like, well, guys, it was her very first movie. It was her very first screenplay. That's not normally what she does. She does plays and stuff. So we got to give her a little slack. It's her first movie. It's like, no, but it wasn't Craig Gillespie's first movie. It wasn't James Gunn's first movie. All right. Like, yeah, she writes the script. The script then goes through a ton of revisions. The script then goes through a ton of revisions before the movie goes to production, during the movie's production, and when they're editing the movie and figuring out what needs to be reshot, they will make alterations. So like, and this is one of those things where it's like her screenplay might have actually been really good, but through the process of just reverse osmosis, i.e. how films are made, it's possible that it got watered down, dumbed down, and completely nonsensical. That does happen quite a bit. And it's also possible that's what's happened with Christina Hodson, because her scripts are for like Bumblebee and like Birds of Prey and The Flashlight were all not good. I'm fucking tired of people trying to defend Bumblebee. That story was shit. Oh yeah, and I got like I started watching Transformers 1 today with my kid. Wow, that movie is not great. I need to go back and watch the whole thing. It was like uncomfortably warm in my house, and maybe that was a problem. But like the first half of that movie was just kind of like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? It just, I don't know. I hear it gets better in the second half of the movie, but that first half of Transformers 1 is not great. Not terrible, but like nothing I don't know. Like, it just wasn't really wowing me, I guess I should say. You can tell it's a lower budgeted movie. It's meant to look like a bigger budgeted animated film. It's absolutely not. Not saying they shouldn't continue with it, but based on what I saw, it ain't the greatest thing ever. Anyway, I do think that James Gunn is in a position where he's going to have to really reevaluate the approach to this kind of stuff. And I talked about this earlier today. I don't know if anyone watched the video I put out earlier today, the hour-long discussion about Supergirl's box office. What that was it was a Twitter space. It's this one right here. This was all done with ChatGPT. I gotta say, they gave me a great, like an absolutely great thumbnail that resembles something you would see on Nerdrotic, with absolutely no production value because I'm a lazy ass bitch who just likes to talk. But this whole thing was a Twitter space. I wanted to try. Wrong one. I wanted to try to see if I could do a Twitter space. I should have done this live streaming, to be fair. But anyway, when I was talking about that, I'm like, look, Kevin Feige approached the first 3 phases of the MCU, the Infinity Saga, as more or less a 21 episode season of a show. All right. And as a result, it worked out swimmingly. And there's some some wobbly moments and all that shit, but people really are kind of okay with it. They still love it. Those are still well respected. Gunn needs to do the same thing. All right. He absolutely needs to do the same thing. And this is why there might be kind of a problem here. Okay. Anyway, let's move on here. Thank you for HBarts for the 5. People are saying the DCU is saved since Ellison said so, but Gunn told Gal that she was safe, but nope. So look, again, I always point this out. I mention this all the time. I need to reiterate this whole thing. People in Hollywood, producers, executives, actors, writers, directors, anyone that's what you would call above the line, okay, or like usually like the exec and at the exec level, they lie to you. They lie to each other, but they mostly lie to you. Why do they lie to you? To protect their investments, to protect the reputation, the idea of a movie. And the thing is, like, nobody ever wants to talk about this. Like, every time I listen to other people talk about movies, like, and they talk about the business, they never bring up the fact that these people outright lie to you. And they do it to keep you in the dark because they don't want to spoil things. Like, that's the idea. But in reality, they do it because that is the best thing for them to do. All right. So, people want to sit there and say that David Ellison told one producer on Man of Tomorrow or Supergirl or whomever that they like what they're doing over there and that, they're on board with it. Okay. And then the other part of that, too, is he had said that the train has left the station, this being the producer, meaning that stuff is already in motion that can't be stopped unless it's going to cost, the money's already been spent. So might as well just see it through to the end. That is what explains the DCEU's last 4 movies in 2023 and how they basically sent each and every one of them out there to fucking die. That's what they did. And so it shows you that like all of these companies lie. Marvel lies, Sony lies, DC lies, Warner Brothers lies, Paramount lies a lot. All right. But it's all part of what they're doing for their brand, for their company. So that's what you have to remember on this one. So Gunn saying Gal was safe. No, right? I mean, no, maybe it was, she was in the moment. Maybe she wasn't in the moment. Maybe it was just a safe face following the Henry Cavill fallout. I got no fucking idea. All right. But the idea here now is that like they're years removed from Black Adam. They're years removed from The Flash, Aquaman, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle. They're years removed. The DCEU is dead. My friends, it's not coming back. It's not coming back, right? It's just there's no way that David Ellison is going to be like, all right, Zack Snyder, you come back. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe like the Saudi Arabian government's like, a movie I really liked was that Zack Snyder's Justice League film. You know what I mean? We need to bring back that guy. And since David Ellison owes us, like over $50 billion or some shit, maybe we can put the screws to him to make that happen. Because we have the money. Let's make that thing happen. You know what I mean? Like I could see something like that being like floated around, but again, in a hyperbolic, over the top, jokey joke sort of way, like a James Gunn movie. All right. So, let's see. I'm going to get to yours, Rational, but I'm keeping on the topics of movies for right now before we jump over. If it's all about the money, genuine question. Why did BVS make them correct course? It made more than Man of Steel. So what was going on from them? It wasn't that the critical reception was bad. It was that like 80% second weekend drop, right? How bad was the second weekend drop of BVS? It was 69.1% drop, taking in 51.8 million compared to its 166 million opening. Now, all things considered, we've seen worse now. All right. Actually, Quantum Mania might have actually beat that one out. Yeah, that's actually Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania it fell 69.7% in its second weekend, compared to the 69.1% that Batman v Superman fell. Now, the thing we have to again remember about all of that is there were 30 minutes. We didn't know this at the time. Okay, we did not know this at the time, March 25th of 2016, 10 years ago. We didn't know that there were 30 minutes of plot that were removed from the movie. We didn't know that they had forced that on Zack Snyder. We don't know any of that information. That wasn't until we heard like about a week or so later that there was going to be the extended cut of BVS that was going to be coming to home video and digital in June, right? 3 months later. And so 3 months later, when they finally, they released it in theaters for one night, they did a Fathom event for it one night or something. A lot of people went to go see it. If you can go and find the AMC Movie Talk or Collider Movie Talk, where you've got John Campea, John Schnepp, Jeremy Johns, and Umberto Gonzalez all talking about the movie. They're all because they all went and saw it the night before. They all loved it. I mean, I remember waking up that morning and like getting my copy of it. And like my girlfriend was gone. She was at work. I had the apartment to myself all fucking day. I got myself my breakfast. I got myself my grub, everything. I was ready to go. I watched the whole fucking 3-hour movie and I loved every fucking second of it. And I was mad. I was furious because this is the kind of movie that should have been on the big screen. This is a kind of movie that is the worthy follow-up to Man of Steel. And then I go and I watch them discussing it, and they're like, yeah, this was great. Like Umberto Gonzalez actually said, Warner Brothers left $250 million on the table by not putting that version in theaters, all because they wanted to cut out 30 minutes. Why? To get an extra showtime. But if all of those people stopped going to go see it multiple times because the thing was, like nonsensical in its outline, its format, its storytelling, when you're watching that movie, by the time you get to the third act, you're not even too sure what the fuck is going on. It is bad. There is a reason why when that movie came out in the tail end of June on digital in 2016, it did really well. And then they held off until the week of Comic-Con 2016. So a month later, and they put that movie out. And then that movie spent 5 fucking weeks at the number 1 spot. Right? 5. No. Sorry, I was wrong. That came out on digital at the same time. Digital and home video, I think. It was The Killing Joke came out after that. But my whole point is that like it spent so much time at the top of the charts for the entire summer of 2016. BVS was selling like hotcakes. So you want to know why they changed course? Because they freaked out at that fucking 69.1% drop from week 1 to week 2. It wasn't the critics. It was that fact that people stopped going en masse. There wasn't repeat viewings. There, as much as there could have been, people were confused. They were frustrated. They were upset. I was literally telling people, like, spoil the movie for yourself. Spoil this movie in order to like make it easier to understand before you go in. I remember I made a video about that like way back in the day. Okay. And so, there's that. And then, I was, there was that clip they put out. So like the Sunday after BVS came out, they released the minute-long clip of the FBI storming Zod's ship. Okay. And then finding, Lex Luthor there with the mother boxes looking at Steppenwolf. Okay. And like teasing Steppenwolf in the mother boxes. And I showed that to a buddy of mine who was like super into fucking comics. And he was like super disappointed with BVS. And I was like, what do you make of this clip? Because I don't know much about these characters because I don't read comics. And he's all like, why the fuck wasn't this in the movie? This explains so much. Right. And I'm like, that minute-long clip would have done a lot to really help solidify the story that ultimately ended up getting told in Justice League. But they left it on the cutting room floor because some fucking dingleberry dipshit cock-smoking motherfucker over there at Warner Brothers was like, hey guys, we need to have another fucking hour. And they did something stupid about it. That's what it was. That was legitimately what happened with that shit, is they did all that. And so that's why they course corrected. All right. Like, had they not cut 30 minutes of that movie, we would not be talking about Supergirl today starring Millie Alcock. We'd probably be talking about like maybe another, reboot of the franchise, but Zack Snyder would have most likely gotten everything he wanted, and he would have been able to do all that shit. All right. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that's what's going on there. Thank you, though. All right. H Bart's for tenor. Thank you again. We will never do a movie until a script is finished. Keep that woman away from Adria Arjona Wonder Woman film. Is she is Wonder Woman? Do not mess up that goddess. God damn, you need to type better. I love you, buddy, but Jesus Christ, I need to like be a fucking courtroom interpreter. Read your shorthand. Okay, so like I don't know what's going on with that. We don't know if Adria, whatever, is going to be Wonder Woman. I've said many times that if she is Maxima, that's a waste of talent, right? That's just a waste of talent. We don't know. Is the screenwriter of Supergirl, who's working on Wonder Woman, going to end up getting the boot? Again, we don't know. We don't know where she's at. We don't know how far along she is. She said that but I will say, though, she did say, that screenwriter did say that she had a movie deal with Warner Brothers, but that was Warner Brothers before DC Studios became a thing. That was before DC Studios became a thing. So it's entirely possible that that deal won't be happening. I read about that earlier today. All right. So it's entirely possible that that deal will not happen, that she's actually not working on Wonder Woman and that she's not working on Teen Titans, or maybe she is, or it's on a per case basis. We have no idea. But she herself came out and said that this particular deal was something that was under the old regime and not under the new regime. And so we'll have to wait and see if that's a thing or not. I don't quite know. Thank you, though, for H. Bart's another tenor. Says, I think Kevin Feige could run DC better because he would probably do Superman's solo film first. Not a bunch of characters. Iron Man 1 was not overstuffed. Here's the thing. If Kevin Feige was running DC, he would not start with Superman. I'm telling you that right now. He would start it with Batman and build out from there. Right. That's what he would do. Because Batman is I mentioned this earlier on the other stream I did on Twitter. When you talk about these characters, for example, right? Like, let's talk about Spider-Man real quick. Spider-Man is relatable because of the struggle. Batman is relatable only because of the power fantasy. Iron Man falls into that same category. So the power fantasy of these characters that are also grounded and have human characteristics and human struggles and everything else, right? Those are the ones you want to focus on to have the audience build empathy with those characters and want to see more from them. You want to see Iron Man fall. You want to see Batman struggle. You want to see these power fantasies, stumble, fall, and then rebuild and then go from there, right? Superman is one of those characters where it's like you get maybe one and done. You get one. Because how many times, again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to dwell on this for long. How do you consistently just have the same fucking arc for Superman? Oh no, people are in danger. The one man who's impervious to everything but a radioactive rock from his dead homeworld and, I don't know, magic. He has to save them. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like he's the ultimate deterrent. And yet problems still exist. So it's like he's, as far as like grounded reality goes, he's full of shit. That's why you get maybe one. All right. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, even like as great as Henry was, the character was like still like coming into his own in the first movie. And even BVS, he was more Clark Kent than he was Superman in that film, which was great because we got that dichotomy of character work. We got to spend more time with Clark Kent. We got to see him kind of be the investigator and do that job, which was great in the extended cut, not in the theatrical. They botched that storyline. So that's kind of my whole point there is that, like, Feige could do a good job, but he wouldn't start with Superman. He would not in any way start with Superman. He would absolutely start with somebody else. So there's that. Thank you, though. All right, HR's for Fiverr here. I also think Gunn should have not kept anyone from the DCEU, commit to a real reboot, can't keep your favorites, and cancel Batman to one universe. I agree. I absolutely agree. I feel that the best course of action would have been to eliminate the Batman or merge him into the universe. Everyone keeps telling me, no, you can't do it. You can't have the Batman in the fucking Superman movie. Whatever. That's like so dumb to even say that at this point, because yes, you can, and it'd be fine. And again, when the Batman Part 2 makes more money than Man of Tomorrow next year, that's going to be something that, The new owners over there are going to be like, why aren't these two guys hanging out, right? Like, if each movie did pretty well, what if we combine them together? It would do even better, sort of thing. So, but I do agree that they should have just canceled Peacemaker and not continued it, despite the season outside of the finale being good. And they should have definitely canceled the Batman Part 2 and then just rolled everything up into one. So now we're talking about Elseworlds. Now we're talking about fucking multiple characters and actors coming over from one universe to the other. The juggling of it all, it's messy, it's unnecessary, and it's going to cause problems as time goes on. I'm sorry. It's like, that's just kind of where we are. Also, H. Bart, thank you, says, it's autocorrect, Jarbo. My typing gets messed up. Yeah, I know. I'm still going to give you shit for it, though. Thank you, though. All right. Also, H. Parts, Adria better be Wonder Woman, like that is Wonder Woman, pure Latina goddess. Pure Latina goddess. That's going to be on the poster. Adria Arjona is Wonder Woman. She's pure Latina goddess. H. Parts 100 at YouTube. I think, yeah, she's great. And she's got that, she's got the look. But does she have the does she have the capacity? That becomes the real question, right? When I say capacity, what I mean is, like, does she have the compassion? There we go. Right? I don't think I've really seen her play a part where she's been like that. Now, there's that new movie coming out with her that's directed by Adam Wingard, Onslaught. That maybe we'll get to see that kind of compassion. But that is one of the things that Gal Gadot actually had. Okay, she had the warmth. She had the compassion. All right, like, audiences liked that. Audiences responded to that. Audiences were on board with that. That is true. That is absolutely fundamentally fucking true. Audiences liked her in the role. The movie did like 770 million or some shit like that, right? It did a lot of money. Back in 2017, it made a lot of fucking money. And then Patty Jenkins got full creative control and borked it beyond the borking. I mean, oh my God. You look, if you want to talk about Gal Gadot's appearances in the DCEU, you just go BVS, Wonder Woman, the first movie, and then fucking Justice League, and that's it. Wonder Woman 84 should be fucking wiped from everyone's memory. That movie is beyond the pale terrible. But again, this is like, not having a singular voice, removing Zack Snyder from the equation at that point in time. That was a big part of that, I think. Also, Patty Jenkins was just not great. All right, Rational here for a 10 or 5. Thanks, you, buddy. Not 10. Thank you, buddy. Talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. Saying here, I'm going to wait for the PC version of GTA 6 to release, since it'll be cheaper with all the bells and whistles included. It won't be cheaper. I mean, you might be able to find a couple deals and you might get like a couple dollars off, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be as cheap as you think. Although, all things considered, it's entirely reasonable to think that there is a lot that is going on, with all of that shit. And I got to admit, I'm not necessarily a big fan of everything. This is the website. Pre-orders go live on June 25th. Although right now I can pre-order the damn thing on Xbox, right? This is from the website. Gotta love all that bisexual lighting. Let's see here. Look at the Ultimate Edition. This is the problem here, man. Holy shit. So the Ultimate Edition of this is $100, which, if you ever have bought a fucking Ubisoft game, for a damn fact, right? For a damn fact that you're paying like more money for like the big deal stuff. Like, all that. So it's not like it's the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of reality to like pay up to $100 for a game, but it's what's in this Ultimate Edition that is problem. You get pre-order bonuses here. This is, you get some, well, here, we'll take a look at this because this is where it gets terrible. All right. So in the Ultimate Edition, okay, the bonuses are threaded across all aspects of Jason and Lucia's story, with new items uncovered behind each chapter. Okay. So you've got the 95 Grotti cheetah. Cheetahs are always kind of cool. So you've got a bunch of, it looks really good. Okay, Hawk and Little Morgan's revolvers, his and hers versions of this powerful revolver with classic Vice City stylings, sourced from the Vercetti estate. Oh, wow. So we already know that Tommy Vercetti is going to be referenced here. Too bad Ray Liotta's passed, and so he's not going to be in it. All right, so that's kind of cool. You get personalized variants. So again, skins. All right, I'm not that to me is not the end of the world. Okay, you get tattoos and everything else, right? Here we go. Safe house vehicles. There's something here. Let's see. What am I? There's a thing I'm looking for here. Okay, here we go. Ride Out Customs. Transform vanilla vehicles into magnificent works of art with detailed interiors, exquisite rims, and donk styling. What does donk mean? What does that even mean? Donk? What the fuck? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm looking it up here. What does that even mean? Donk definition slang. In slang, donk commonly refers to a large protruding buttocks. The term originated in Miami and is heavily used in hip hop culture. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm just a fucking middle-aged gringo. I don't know shit. I don't know fucking shit. All right, that's my bad. That's my bad. Anyway, so this is what you get there, only for Open for Business with the Ultimate Edition. Okay, so you can only do Ride Out Customs at the Ultimate Edition. All right. Sarah's Unisex Salon. Get signature salon styles, only Open for Business in the Ultimate Edition. I mean, okay, it's fucking hair. It's cosmetic shit, it seems like. Okay, the Shih Tzu Squallow. This is, I'm assuming something that it's a boat. Okay. Stock 305 is various unique and exclusive looks for them, only available in the Ultimate Edition. You know, so it's like it shows you that there's a lot of shit that is hidden. Electric Fang Tattoo, only Open for Business in the Ultimate Edition. We get tattoos and shit. So a lot of it is all, the variants are all, you know, cosmetic, right? That's literally what this shit is. It's all cosmetic. But $100 more for that cosmetic shit doesn't really seem to fly well with me, to be honest with you. It just doesn't. It's kind of ridiculous. But unfortunately, that is what Rockstar is going to want to do in order to find a way to get more money off of you. And a lot of people are really upset over the fact that you cannot get this game in physical media form. If you buy the box, if you buy the physical media collection, there's no disc inside. There's just a download code. And people are losing their collective shit over this. And I am looking at them like, what in the fuck? Right? Like, why are you getting mad? Why are you getting upset over something that is not out of norm? Right? Like, so many games these days, so many games are only available on digital. You know, I can't go out and get Helldivers on the fucking Xbox physical. I think it's only available digital. You know, there's a ton of other games that are only available on digital. Most people end up just buying games on digital because it's easier to have. And never mind the fact that we're also in an age right now where you don't actually own what you buy, even if it's digital or not. You are paying for a limited license to play it, right? Like, the only thing that physical offers is the opportunity to have right of first sale, which is something that we should have, by the way. I'm not even against that. But we don't have that ability with digital games to sell them to other people. We don't have the ability to sell what we've got. And so we haven't had that forever, and nobody seems to complain. But now all of a sudden, this game comes out and is like, oh, you get a code in there, and people are fucking mad. All right. But I mean, Nintendo has been talking about that with the Switch 2 stuff, that you get the fucking cartridge, and the cartridge has just the link to it just downloads the game to your system, and the cartridge acts as a key, which I will say, I think they should do that. Put the disc in, the disc has the passcode, right? And then you can then download it digitally. But here's the problem with that. If you want to play the game that you have digital on your system, that card acts as the key, meaning that while you have the ability to trade that card to somebody else, they have to have that cartridge in their Switch when they want to play it. even though the whole game is digitally downloaded to your Switch 2, you still have to have that key card, right? So it's like, how about push? I don't know. How about push for the ability to like just have like stuff soft locked to your account and that you can deactivate it and then you can give it to somebody else or sell it to somebody else and then they can download it and go from there. All right. That's what we should be pushing for. But in the meantime, the open for business shit that's only in the Ultimate Edition, that's the problem. That's the bigger issue here. But for some reason, people are just like losing their fucking mind over it. It's so weird to see. So weird to fucking see. All right. Let's see. Rational says here, can we watch the Batman Nightfall trailer? Yeah, go ahead and DM it to me. That's fine. We'll take a look at that. Spherical Man here. Thank you for being a member for 49 months. Wow. Wonder Woman 84, the One Wish Willow edition. It would be better. I will admit. I will agree. I will definitely get on board with that one. It'd be better if that was what we got than the actual movie itself. H-Bart's here for a $5. Thank you, buddy. Keeping DCU actors causes people to say, well, why not keep Henry why not keep Henry that started a rift right away? I mean, in many ways, again, Hollywood is not, it's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but we also have to look at this again through the lens of it being a business. All right. And actors are just actors. They're just hired for a role. They're hired for a time. They're hired for a specific job that might turn into multiple jobs, but they still, in the meantime, because of how long these movies take to get together, they will move on to other things. Robert Pattinson was under the impression that they were going to shoot 3 Batman movies relatively back to back to back, not 5-6 years apart from each other, but the fickleness of the industry, especially in recent years, has caused those problems. And so, yeah, keeping some actors while not bringing back other actors absolutely sucks, right? It does. But we also have to remember that some actors move on. They do other things. Scheduling conflicts happen. Studios will pick the release date of a movie 2-3 years in advance before that movie even has a script. That's what they did with The Mandalorian and Grogu. Right. The movie wasn't even a thing. They announced it and then they went to John. Maybe they went to John first and said, hey, we're making a movie. And then they announced it. And they said, you have to have it done by this day, and he went off and he made the movie and everything else. And like, that's a big problem, for all this kind of stuff where, this is a business that is oftentimes run by the seat of people's pants and by impulsive decisions based upon a whole bunch of mitigating factors. And actors are just kind of along for the ride. And, and certain things work and certain things don't. We got to keep that one in mind. So it's like the rift of Henry not being there sucks, but it was also like there was many years in between. And, that man's only going to hold out for so long, right? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson worked his ass off to make that thing work. And he thought he had it, man. He fucking thought he had that shit. He thought he was locked and loaded and ready to take over. And then he did not. There's honestly, I would love to get insight into The Rock. That the Monday after the opening, or the Tuesday, whatever, after the opening of Black Adam, when it came out and it rocked like 60 million opening weekend or whatever the fuck it was, and it did really well for the time. And then Henry's back and everyone's all happy that Henry's back and The Rock is like the savior of the DCEU and he's feeling really good and he's getting what he wants. And then Zaslav comes on in and just cock slaps him by announcing that James Gunn is taking over. I mean, like, dude. And then at that point in time, Black Adam still was the #1 movie for the next 2 weeks in the box office. And then no one's ever talked about it since then. And then over the course of 2023, all 4 of those films were left out to die. Because they had to be. They had to be. It's such dude, this is the thing with DC. This is why I say, and I think at this point I've been vindicated enough times in saying this, that the best course of action for DC truly is to go where Marvel is not, scrap all live action properties and go right to animation. I really think that's the best course of action. Now, people out there are going to disagree, obviously. I get that all the time. No, we need live action. It's not working. And I'm going to tell you why it's not working. I'm going to give you 2 letters and 1 word to describe to you precisely why it's not working. CW's Arrowverse. Because the Arrowverse did what DCU is trying to do. It did what the DCEU is trying to do. It handled multiple shows, multiple characters, continuity, right? Story arcs across a bunch of shows, a ton of crossover events, everything. It may not have been perfect, man, but you can't tell me that the first couple seasons of The Flash were not fucking top tier. You cannot tell me that the first couple seasons of Arrow were not top tier. Even Supergirl's first season was pretty fucking good. And then it went over to the CW and it was still pretty fucking good. My whole point, though, is that fucking Legends of Tomorrow first season was fucking based. There's so much good shit that came out of the Arrowverse, and they're never going to be able to replicate that. They're in film. They're never going to be able to do it. The DC Arrowverse on television already did the shared universe shit for years, and it was successful. It was very successful for what it was with the minimal budgets that it got. And then the DCU will not be able to do that. So the TV side already did it. The movie side is so much in flux due to the constant changing of hands that Warner Brothers is in. Okay. They're basically like the belle of the whore ball. Okay. Like they get fucking bought and sold a lot. And as a result of that, new hands come in and then new hands want to take over and put their fucking spin on it. And that's only going to delineate things. You are never going to recreate the success of the Arrowverse with the films. It's never going to fucking happen. So they should just not even worry about that. Invest into animation. It's going to be cheaper and better with fucking AI. We'll look at some examples of some new shit that just dropped today that will fucking show you that this shit's fucking possible. And that is what they should do. And as much as I enjoy the movies and as much as I want to see the Batman Part 2 and as much as I want to see if we ever get a Penguin season 2, right? And I do love all that stuff. And I enjoyed Superman, and I'm sure I'm going to like Supergirl and Man of Tomorrow. I mean, I know all that shit. My point is that all of this stuff is now completely moot because Marvel did it on movies first, and you never want to play second fiddle, to be fair. And then the DC did it on TV, and they did it well. And all anyone was ever asking during the Arrowverse was just find a way to merge those characters into your movies, and then you will beat Marvel. You will beat Marvel at their own game because Marvel wasn't doing TV yet. They tried with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in 2013. Disney got cold feet. All right. They because of what was going on between Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter, they fucked up that continuity. Season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had that great 8-episode tie-in to Winter Soldier. If you've never seen it, you really should. But then season 2 was setting up the Inhumans because they didn't have X-Men. That's what they were building for. We had the Inhumans movie, so they were going to find a way to merge it all together to bring TV into film. That's what they were going for. And then Ike Perlmutter just fucking went, bonkers and shit. Diverted everything. It got so bad that Kevin Feige threatened to quit. Until Bob Iger stepped in and fucking knocked down Ike Perlmutter and made Kevin Feige head of Marvel Studios and let Ike Perlmutter be head of Marvel TV. And then the two were diverged for years because of corporate fucking, pissing contests. That's what it was going on. That's what was happening. So now everything is united under one roof, but it's more divided than ever. Because now you've got to do, and this is the DC side, you got to do the cleanup side. All right. Marvel is struggling with their TV and their film side of things, trying to figure out the right balance. But the DC side of it actually had everything already pretty much ready to fucking go. And they were doing it. And that's the fucking crazy thing. They were doing it. And they got good shows. All right. I haven't seen Superman and Lois, but I've heard nothing but top tier amazing things about all 4 seasons of that show. Right. Well, I've heard nothing but amazing things about it, and so it's like they were doing it right over there. And that's why they need to go animation. They got to go, for one, they already dominate the fucking, animated side of it anyway with the DCAU. Those are well loved. Those are well known. Those have made money. Invest more into the animation. They've already been able to bring in top tier voice talent to be able to tell some of these stories. I mean, go and watch The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. That goddamn movie is fucking 14 years old, and that 2.5-hour animated film slaps so fucking hard. It's so good. Peter Weller as Batman. I mean, fuck, dude. He brings that shit. All right. And yeah, we got a bit of that in BVS, but it was like still that animated film, dude, is so fucking good. Marvel would never do that. They would never touch that shit. So go where they are not. But this is the problem is like people, they're not understanding. They don't pay attention to this shit like I do. All right. And I'm sure you guys are bored as fuck hearing me talk about this shit anyway. Every time it comes up, I bring it up. But I'm never wrong. I'm not wrong. That's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm 1,000% correct. All right. Skip the movies. Don't do live action anymore. Go straight into animation. Kneecap Marvel where they're not. Provide the alternative. Because we know that and here's the thing. I mentioned this earlier on the Twitter stream. But here's the thing. When we are talking about the concept of fucking Marvel versus DC, all right, Marvel is more grounded in their approach, which is why it translates better to film. DC is more cosmic, more magical, more metaphysical in many ways. And that's why it lends itself more to animation than it does film. Because when you start getting into some of the crazy shit, it's hard to explain in the visual medium that is live action. But Marvel is good at doing that. DC is better at the alternative. And this has been proven by the fact that in the 90s, you had the X-Men and Spider-Man and Iron Man and Fantastic Four TV shows, right? In the two only really great ones were Spider-Man and X-Men. You know, Iron Man was a lot of fun. And Fantastic Four was great to watch fucking cartoons over, before I went to church and shit. But they weren't the greatest shows ever. Okay. But then you go and you look at like what's long lasting, what's longevity, right? In regards to fucking DC, the Batman animated series, right? Brought us Harley Quinn and Mark Hamill as the Joker, Kevin Conroy as Batman. Fucking iconic. So iconic that up until Kevin Conroy's death, he is and always will be the fucking definitive voice of Batman. Mark Hamill is the definitive voice of the Joker. Their dynamic is fantastic, and it transcended literal like decades, guys, decades of fucking working together. Getting Harley Quinn, making her the number 2 most popular DC character. Right? Never mind that show. But then you also got, again, the Superman animated series, which did another fantastic job. Justice League Unlimited, which I never really watched that one, but that did really good. You got Batman Mask of the Phantasm, actually went to fucking theaters, right? Banger of a fucking movie. But then, oh baby, then we get the crown jewel that they've been sleeping on for 25 fucking years. And you know what? When I was at Walmart yesterday and I'm looking through their home, what they got on DVDs and shit, and I look down and I see that they still have the full 3 seasons of Batman Beyond, the complete series, together on DVD. I think it might have even been Blu-ray and shit. I'm like 25 years later, and this show is still one that is being sold, that people still love watching. And we've always wanted to see the return of Terry McGinnis. We've always wanted to see what was going to happen with that shit, because not only did we get the 3 great seasons of that show, we also got the epic fucking movie, The Return of the Joker. And that shit was fucking good. And again, all animated. Everything DC has done that's animated in that sense from 25 to 30 years ago has been excellent, showing you precisely where that fan base fucking is. But everyone just keeps going back to like, oh my God, Superman 78, 50 fucking years ago, guys, 48 fucking years ago was that shit. 48 fucking years ago. It's like, that's where it's at, 48 fucking years ago. It's time to move on. Okay, it's time to move the fuck on. All right, Batman 89. We're coming up on 40 fucking years on that one as well. Great movie. I love it. Superman 78. I love that movie too. We have moved beyond all of that shit. All right, they may have launched it theatrically, but they can't compete with Marvel in many ways. Superman barely made more money than fucking Fantastic Four, all things considered. All right. But that's the number 1 top tier super fucking DC character. Everyone tells me this guy's amazing. All right. Like everyone tells me that Superman is the shit. Everyone tells me all this stuff. Okay. And then you realize a new movie comes out and it barely does more than like a fucking, like Marvel group that's on their third relaunch. You know what I'm saying? It's like it goes to show you precisely where all of this shit should go. Where all of this shit should go. And that's my fucking thoughts on that. Sorry, that's a long rant. I apologize. HBAR is also for $2. Thank you. It says, I will admit, I just want to see Audrey in the Wonder Woman suit. That's fine, dude. You want a goon? That's goon. We can all goon. Look at this. Sydney Sweeney is Supergirl. We can all goon, right? I bet you, I'm just saying, if she was Supergirl, it maybe would have made more money. I don't know. The reviews would have been shit, but the definite would have had at least a $50 million opening weekend. That's all I'm saying on that one. We're just going to leave this one up on screen as I jump over to the chat here. Okay. So let me kind of take a look back. I went on a fucking rant. I apologize for the rant. Let me catch up on the chat here because you guys have been doing your own things. Matt going to church, I don't believe it. I did for quite some time. Let's see here. This shit is already. Hey, what's up, Blarkin? How you doing, buddy? The shit is already practically animated movie. Supergirl looks like all bad CG in the trailers. It saves so much money if they made them fully animated and look better too. That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, man, you can sit there and be like, yeah, the animation hasn't been great on like the DC animated films. Like they're not like, full Pixar level shit, but the stories have always been top notch. The voice acting has always been top notch. No one comes out of that saying like that shit sucked. Most of the time you hear like it was either it was okay or that was really good. Right? That's what I'm talking about. Right? That's what I'm talking about. You go to where the audience is on that front. Okay? People are going like, look, man, look at the comics even. What is the number one selling comic right now on DC side of things? It's the Absolute stuff, right? It's Absolute. Those lines, those runs are what's selling really well. Okay? And like they're not jumping on that as being like a movie yet. They should, but they're not jumping on that yet. That should be something animated. That should be something theatrical. But then again, I mean, that they do like a hyper violent Batman, a hyper violent Superman, hyper violent Wonder Woman. Again, the concept of these Absolute series is that they're hyper violent and people respond well to the violence. People like violence. We are at heart a violent species. We like watching people who are bad get fucked up. It brings us joy. It goes back to that power fantasy thing I was talking about, right? That's one of the reasons why with Marvel, a lot of this shit, like Punisher, power fantasy, Spider-Man, relatable. That's why they're dynamic against each other or with each other in the new movie is going to be interesting. It's also one of the reasons why you've got Matt Murdock and the Punisher in season 2 of Daredevil, why that's as good as it is. It has a lot to do with the fact that, these guys are like, again, just like diametrically opposed, and it's so interesting, their discussions, their philosophies, kind of butting heads with one another, and it's kind of pulling on both sides of the id of the reader, of the watcher, of the viewer. You know what I mean? Again, the relatability and the empathy and the power fantasy and the violence, right? The hard justice type shit. That's one of the reasons why Daredevil season 2 is goated, in my opinion, simply because those conversations between Matt and Frank, those 2 times they had them on the rooftop and in the cemetery were just like so fucking good. So fucking good. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about, all this shit, right? Now, fourth, I get what you're saying here, that animation is not widely respected. I get all that. Okay, it says here that my dad loves live action DC Nolan and DCEU, but will not watch a cartoon. My wife will not watch a cartoon. My cousins too and coworkers too. I understand that. I get that. But if that's their option, right? If that's their option, at that point, then if you like it, you need to act as the arbiter. Okay. I'll give you kind of an example of this. This happened a few months ago. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Okay. So back in December, I got the Arrow 4K set of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles box set. Okay. So I got that box set, came in the mail, and I was going to show my daughter. So I pop it in, menu pops up, and my 8-year-old looks at the screen and she goes, "Hey, Dad." And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "I don't get it. What are you talking about?" She's like, "It looks terrible." And I'm watching like the menu, scenes from Turtles popping up. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's fucking amazing. Look at that 4K, that crispness. Oh my God, it's so amazing." And she's like, "No, it looks terrible." And then it dawned on me. I'm like, oh, she's got no frame of reference for this shit. Because like the night before, we had watched Avatar: The Way of Water, arguably one of the most beautiful films ever made. You know? And so it's like her mind was like, I can't comprehend this different approach to like what something looks like, especially that I love it so much. And then I explained to her, I was like, kiddo, this is something that I saw when I turned 8 and you just turned 8. So we're seeing it around the same time. Plus, this is what we had in the 90s. She's like, oh, okay. And we watched the movie and she fucking loved it. Right? She has chosen to watch Sandlot a few times now. My kids love Three Ninjas. All right. And, you know, like, again, it's all about the person who is the ambassador, if you will. That's why I use that term, to showcase this stuff with people, right? To share it with people. It's your job to share it, to be honest with you. It is. It's not the movie's job anymore. All right. We're beyond that. We're in a post fucking truth world on that shit. All right. Now we are in like you got to grab people by the fucking short and curlies and sit them down and like watch this shit. That's kind of the whole point. You know, so anyway, I'm just saying, let me catch up on the chat. You guys are fucking going crazy. Does Merced squawk Isabella Merced squawk haunt? Yeah, it's terrible. That single-handedly like ruins part of Superman for me. I fucking hate it. I hope to God in the next fucking movie they cut it the fuck out. It's so bad. Like that fucking fisheye lens shot of her, like, you know, I don't even know how the fuck you would take that shit. It's bad. It's not good. I do love interconnectivity because interconnectivity sells, right? Interconnectivity is when you say universe one, that interconnectivity is not even anything up for debate. That is the bottom line hard sell of what you are doing. Anything else outside of that is not only a disservice to you, it's a disservice to the audience because you are effectively lying to them. If you sit there and go, the DCU is the DC universe, right? That is a universe. That is one. That is connected. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is connected. We know this. This is what James Gunn was brought on for. So, yeah, no, absolutely I push for interconnectivity because if you don't have it, what the fuck are you doing then? Right? What the fuck are you doing then? This is the problem. Like people, I don't get this shit. Like legitimately, it drives me up the wall. H Bart's here. Thank you for the 10. I can't believe some people don't understand philosophical meanings in movies, shows, and games. Remember I sent you that DM about what I had to write out about Assassin's Creed cutscene meaning? Yeah, I mean, in many ways, yes, media literacy has gone out the window, right? And like, let's say, for example, 007 First Light. There's a lot of stuff in there about AI. But it's handled in a way to where the people who writing it are critical of AI. But as a person myself who is pro AI, I wasn't upset. I completely understood what they were going for. I got what they were going for, and I enjoyed what their criticism because I agreed with it in many ways. So it's all about the framing. And I think a lot of it too is all about people like really stopping and paying attention to what's being said. And a lot of people, especially the person in question that you're talking about there, you know, they're kind of TikTok brained, right? Like you have to almost spoon feed it to them in monosyllabic terms for them to understand. Because otherwise they just crash the fuck out. It's really sad. It's really sad. This is here for 5. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. If no one is watching animation, why is Invincible so high on Amazon's ratings and the comic book is outselling both DC and Marvel Comics? Well, yeah, they leaned into that hardcore. They did. They leaned into the idea of that pretty damn well. And, they Invincible, I mean, had a great first season. The animation quality is absolutely dipped. And I do think moving it from what's it called? The half hour to hour long for season 2 really killed the pacing, and I haven't gotten back into it. I need to, but it was really good on that first season. Really well written. Let's see. Just do the DCAU in same order, but live action. No, just do it fucking animated. There's no point in not doing it animated. There's just no point. There's just no fucking point anymore. All right. They're never going to catch up to Marvel ever. The only way they're going to catch up to Marvel is if it leads with Batman. All right? Like, that's it. That's how they're going to get there. That's how it's going to matter. All right? And they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're going like, no, we're gonna lead it with Superman. And I'm going like, bro, Superman's fucking stock around the world is dimming, dude. It's dimming. We're seeing a whole bunch of people not going to church anymore. All right. Superman is heavily fucking deified. He is heavily deified. All right. And so a lot of people that believe in that are right wingers that go to church, they believe in Superman, right? Because they also believe in a weird, fairy sky god. Okay. And so that's what they want to believe in. That's the reason why they choose to believe in Superman. But in reality, you're seeing that popularity diminish because the grip that the church has on the world is also diminishing to some extent. Maybe not with Islam. That's still the world's fastest growing religion, predominantly due to birth rates. But in America, birth rates are kind of not the best. So, we are going to be seeing some stuff coming out of that. But no, absolutely do fucking animation, man. Let's see. Movie Man here says Greg Berlanti should have been the Kevin Feige for the DC universe. Yes, I completely agree. Star Trek used to have a cinematic universe. I completely agree. Yep, absolutely, man. I don't think anyone here who wasn't around in 1990, was it 1997? When was No, 1998, right? That was let's see, hold on. Star Trek Generations. That was it was 94 was Generations. Whoa, I was way off. Hey, okay. When the fuck was Star Trek 6 then? When the hell was Star Trek 6? I thought that was like early 90s. Okay. All right. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. Hold up. I got to see this. Star Trek 6, 1991 was Star Trek 6. Holy fuck. Wow. Oh my God, I'm old. Okay. Talking about Star Trek Generations, 1994. It takes the first film with the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation, all right? And then what happens is Picard meets Shatner, right? Picard meets Kirk, and they have a fucking adventure together. And yes, it ends with Kirk dying, all right, which is unfortunate, but it still gave us Kirk and Picard together. That was, I don't think you guys who weren't around then, you don't know. That was a big fucking deal for a lot of us who were watching Star Trek: The Next Generation week to week and grew up liking the fucking live action films from at least Wrath of Khan, not so much 5, but at least Wrath of Khan to Undiscovered Country. I saw Undiscovered Country like 3 times in theaters, man. That fucking movie is sick. Oh, I haven't watched it in years. I need to watch all of them again now that I'm an adult. But man, like those were good. Those are solid. But then again, you got like Generations, and then we get the best Star Trek: The Next Generation film, which is First fucking Contact, because First Contact is awesome. And then of course you get, you get fucking Nemesis and then Insurrection, and sure. Yeah, those are movies. Those are things. Or was it Insurrection and then Nemesis? I think it was Insurrection with Worf going through puberty. Weird. But still, I'm not complaining. I like all those stupid movies. And I love even the J.J. Abrams ones and everything else. But again, I still think that Star Trek is something that's relegated for TV. That's where we are. All right. Let's see. Ahsoka here for 5. Thank you, buddy. I have Sydney Sweeney fatigue. Conservatives act like she's the hottest woman. I see more attractive women. Now, don't get me wrong, man. It's not that she's like the most attractive woman. All right. But she is attractive. I am there. Anyway. Let's see here. Okay. H-Wars for 5. Thank you, says. Hopefully Obsession beats Sinners box office soon. I can't believe if you don't like the movie, you're automatically a racist. Well, some people out there have really bad ways of explaining themselves on that one. Obviously, I think worldwide Obsession is going to beat out Sinners. Domestically, has it overtaken Sinners? I'm not too sure. Obsession is a much better movie than Sinners. Sinners is a movie that doesn't know what it wants. It doesn't know what it wants to be. And it doesn't matter, right? I'm sorry. It doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't know what it wants to be, like, at all. And that's kind of sad, because you would hope that it would know what it wants to be. You would hope that a movie that Ryan Coogler was trying to have touch upon all these themes would mesh well. And it maybe would have been able to mesh well if you would have actually gone and written the movie a few more times. right? Because it was the first draft that they ran with to go into production. So that's what they built everything around. And then, of course, people will say to me, yeah, but he won Best Original Screenplay. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, do we really take the Oscars? Right? Do we really take the Oscars with any kind of fucking consideration? The answer to that is no. We do the same thing how we treat Rotten Tomatoes. It's there. It's a piece of entertainment, but that's really about it. You know. All right, hold on here. Am I excited for the Song of the South Italian 4K? I think I have the post going up about this. I want to say soon, or did I? Maybe I already posted it. So for those of you who don't know, Song of the South, right? The heavily reviled film that was re-released 7 times, and Michael Eisner loved so much that he built Splash Mountain around, but it was a bad movie, you guys. That movie is going to be up for sale on 4K in Italy. A company called Sinister Films, Sinister Film is putting it out. And I looked into this. I was like, why is this happening? What is going on with this? How are we at a spot where fucking all of this shit is happening? And really what's going on is that the copyright for that movie expired in Italy. So it expired in Italy, which then allows them to basically release the movie for sale in Italy only. Now, does this mean that they have the camera negative? Right? No, they don't. Is this going to be a remastered 4K port of or upscale, right? Or sorry, a remastered 4K version of Song of the South? Are we going to get all of that stuff? The answer to that is no. That is unless they have. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they have themselves access to an original, like, 1930s print of Song of the South. Maybe they do. Maybe they have one in a vault somewhere in Italy. They're able to find the old Italian version of the movie, and they're able to scan it, and they're able to do the frame-by-frame restoration and be able to put out a pristine, high-quality 4K UHD version of Disney's most racist film. Maybe. But if not, they're just going to go and do a 4K upscale and then be able to press that to a disc and sell it in Italy because it's not illegal to do so. And honestly, I don't think Disney would necessarily stop them anyway. So do I plan on getting it? The answer to that is absolutely not. But it's funny that it's out there. It's funny that it exists. And it's funny that it's a reality. Okay. H-Bar's here for 10. Thank you, buddy. He says, was reading people bullied Indy Neveretti into thinking she was overweight a couple years ago. What the fuck is wrong with people? She was never fat. She was thicker, but good thicker. Well, I mean, if you go back and so Indy Neveretti recently said that in between the filming of Obsession, which took place in 2024, and now, she did not book any jobs. So she made money by paying the rent by doing Twitch streaming and being a dog walker. And then, but also there was, I think during that time, she had gained a little bit of weight while she was home, right? It's the video clips I've seen of her Twitch streams. She definitely is a little bit on the thicker side. And I'm not saying that as a negative, but it's noticeable from how she was, unless that took place before she did Obsession. All right. But now, if you look at her now, she has lost a bunch of that weight. She's got a much more, she's definitely gone and gotten a trainer. She's definitely gone and toned up. Her facial structure is almost entirely different, right? Than she was in those videos from when she was, from just a year ago. She has almost gone and almost redone her look entirely. And a lot of that is just from she's aging because she's young. So she's getting a little older, and then she's also working out. And I'm not complaining. I'm not criticizing. She looks good, right? She looks healthy. She looked healthy then too, but it's noticeable. It's noticeable when actors make those kind of physical changes, right? And people are going to see that. If you go and look at Indy from how she looked on Superman and Lois to now, she looks like a lot skinnier. There's actually photos of her tonight at the Jackass World premiere, and she still looks pretty skinny. And, again, good for her. Good for her. Hold on here. Okay, Spherical Man says Star Trek OG and Star Trek TNG prove people can handle two different types of properties running at the same time and not confusing people. They weren't really running at the same time though, unless you count like the movies like Star Trek 5 and Star Trek 6 coming out while Star Trek The Next Generation was on TV. But I mean, the Star Trek TV series had been canceled in like 1969 and only had 3 seasons. So I'm going to push back on that a little bit simply because while you did have the movies that were coming out theatrically while the show was going on, they didn't intersect until 1994. But it is cool that they intersected. And it is sad that we saw Kirk die. But it also made sense, you know. But then we got Spock to come back, 2009, 2011. Sorry, 2009 and 2013. And may Leonard Nimoy rest in peace. Let's see here. Okay. I'm trying to catch up on the chat. Is it true the Obsession actress is only 4'10"? I have no idea. Fourth year says Sweeney is a fantastic actress. You didn't see her performance in Euphoria. You probably watched some of her movies that don't demand a lot from her. I think that's a lot. Yeah. I think that's a lot in regards to that. Again, like Sydney Sweeney is a smart person. Like she understands the business. She understands what she needs to do in order to be able to, kind of get herself in the room with the producers, with the studios. So that's why she's fine. Now that's what she's able to do it. I mean, do I think she should attach herself to like something bigger than Madam Web? Yeah, but she will admit that she took that job as a way to get, I think Immaculate off the ground, because that was one she produced. So when you think about that, like she's playing the game, which is why she'll have a long career. People want to bash on her. I don't know why. I mean, some people like her, some people don't like her. It is what it is. But, when she can get into actual jobs that will be able to demand the acting skills, I think that will be okay. It's kind of like Jennifer Lawrence, not the best acting in the Hunger Games movies, but what got her the job in the Hunger Games movies was Winter's Bone, which is effectively a prequel to Hunger Games, if you really think about it thematically. And, she was great in that movie, and it really does boil down to like the director and the script and a lot of factors. But there's also a lot of actors that take these jobs because they're paychecks, and they want to be able to work on things that they can actually kind of put their teeth into. I'm not saying that these people are like, fucking, what's the word I want to use here? I'm not saying that they are, like phoning it in. Sometimes it happens, but these are just jobs and shit. These are just jobs. Mo here says that Star Trek 2009 was my introduction to the franchise. Crazy. For me, my introduction to the franchise was Wrath of Khan. That was my introduction to the franchise. It was great. It was great, man. Fucking Wrath of Khan is awesome. It is based shit right there, man. Star Trek Search for Spock is all right. It's like 2, 4, and 6 are good. 1, 3, and 5, meh, but 1, 2, 4, and 6 for Star Trek are good. And I think that's okay. Right? Like we're so far beyond that shit now. Now I have no idea what's going to happen with the Star Trek franchise. All right. Like now that Alex Kurtzman is more or less done, right? I think they got one more season of Starfleet Academy, and then that's over with. I think Strange New World, it might be over, or it's on its last run, or whatever. There's so much that's going to be changing with that, and I don't think that we're going to go back to Alex Kurtzman. I think they're going to go with a completely different direction, but I don't know who's going to be the person to do that. Personally, I would say put Star Trek on ice for like a solid 10 years. Okay. Because we had the movies come out, and the movies, again, it's been 10 years since the last movie. They kept talking about doing a 4th movie. Very difficult to do without Anton Yelchin, because, he sadly passed away 10 years ago. So may he rest in peace. And that's difficult to do, even though those 3 movies are a lot of fun and they're great. But then you look at the shows. Star Trek Discovery. Yeah, it was a good show, but I got really heavily attacked. Star Trek, was it Section 31? Fucking, there's that one movie that in the Mirror Universe movie or whatever the fuck it was. There's like the Star Trek, the show Prodigy, the show that was on Nickelodeon, right? You had Lower Decks. What's so funny about that is the Rick and Morty-esque Star Trek parody actually was able to go through its full 5-year cycle and actually get done. That's kind of funny that the parody did better than some of the actual shows. But now you've had all of these years right? You've had it's what, 9 years now of Star Trek on Paramount Plus or CBS All Access or whatever, and it never really was able to reach, a maximum penetration. I mean, shit, Yellowstone is the more popular stuff on there. It might be time to put it on ice for about another 10 years. You know what I mean? Or you know what? We got 3 years from now is the 20th anniversary of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. So maybe in 3 years, announce a whole new cast. And then if you're going to tie it into TV, have it tied into TV, but have it all be, again, all under one umbrella, but make sure you bring in a showrunner that can handle everything, including the movies, because that's going to be the key thing. These we might need an Orville version of Star Wars. That would be great. Where's Orville season 4, for crying out loud? What the hell happened to the Orville? I don't know. Disney is being Disney. There's talks of it coming. I think what happened is Seth got really busy with Peacock, and obviously Ted season 1 took some time. Ted season 2 took some time, and it is really that whole idea there, right? Is like it's I think he's busy working on the Peacock stuff. And then of course you've got, what is the other thing that they're doing? It's Dungeon Crawler Carl, whatever the fuck it is, that book. By the way, the guy who wrote that book actually lives in Gig Harbor, not too far from me. And but my whole point is that I think Seth is working on a bunch of stuff, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with all that, because I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that. They need to do something. I'll tell you that, right? And so with any luck, we'll find out more as time goes on. I don't quite what's going to happen with any of that. Seth MacFarlane said he didn't want to do another season of the Orville. That's not true. That's not true. He actually very much does. He wants to see the show get wrapped up, I think, because he's been working on it now. Like, they started working on it. The show came out in 2017, so they clearly were working on it now for like 10 years. I'm sure he wants to finish it. It's Adrienne Paladaki that I think has said she doesn't want to come back, or she's done, and so like the Kelly storyline with that, they may want to work on that. But no, Seth MacFarlane and Brandon Braga, they very much want to finish it. I don't know where you're getting that information from. It's not true at all. Hold on here real quick. Sadly, sometimes indie films that hit big do nothing for the actors' careers. The Terrifier actress isn't that great actor. She's fine, but those movies should have elevated her to something more than B films. Yeah, it's kind of like Mikey Madison, right? She won Best Actress for Nora, and her first time coming back on screen is with Aaron Sorkin in The Social Reckoning, a movie that I think is far past the viability of when it would have been a big hit. That's her first return. It seems kind of like, oh, okay. Who won? Then was it the girl who won Best Actress for Hamnet last year? I'm not too sure what she's up to either. It's kind of like, you better get on that shit. Yeah, you're an Academy Award winning actor. That's awesome, but your career, gets elevated as a result of that. But it's like you still have a time frame to work on that. But you've also got to pick good projects. That's kind of the issue on that one there. I don't quite know what's going to happen. Let's see. H Bart's here. Thank you. Says, is In Search of a film about understanding queer identity? No, he's not gay. He's not gay. He's just lonely. Right. It's like that line from Wayne's World. I thought I had mono ones for an entire year, but it turns out I was just really bored. That's the queer identity In Search of. Mark, absolutely. Not gay. Neither was my character. We just both were kind of pining over the same girl, I guess, in different ways. Let's see here. Yeah, Batman Nightfall has a great voice cast. I know you keep talking about it. We're gonna get to it here, like right now. I was on a tangent about a lot of other stuff, man. Gotta let me. I don't want to like break my flow when I'm on a tangent. But thank you. All right, here is the Batman Nightfall trailer. Get ready for fucking. Oh, wait, real quick. I want to point this out. So last night, you know how we're looking at Tubi for a while? One of those shitty ass Tubi films I think we watched the trailer for. That got the stream blocked worldwide. Right? That got the stream blocked worldwide. The shitty fucking Tubi movie that nobody's gonna watch. That got the stream blocked worldwide. That's wild as shit to me. But here's this.
Gotham City needs Batman.
Batman, you haven't slept since Arkham exploded 2 days ago. Maybe we should ask John Paul for help. His training is coming along.
We're all that stands between those inmates and the fall of Gotham.
They say you are the greatest detective. And yet you did not see this coming. I intend to break you.
Then give it your best shot.
Let chaos reign in Gotham.
We have to help Batman.
Suit up.
Well, that's a gritty new look for the Dark Knight.
Something else is going on out there.
Come get some! The guilty must pay.
Nice. So are we getting, so here's my question. Are we getting, what is it? Are we getting the Nightfall, like, is it all in 1 year or is it like one, what are the release dates for the films? And those look pretty good. Those look pretty good. You know, I mean, again, you spend more time, right? You spend more time working on that. And you know, again, you put more into the animation and it could easily go to theaters. Second here says that fool doesn't sound Hispanic, which is funny because it's Michael Mondo who is voicing the character, and he's very Hispanic. Yeah, it is a trilogy. It did say the Nightfall trilogy, a 3-part movie. Let's see. Movie Man says, "Are you excited for the Rise of Skywalker possibly no longer being the final film of Skywalker saga? The Simon Kinberg trilogy is rumored to be Star Wars Episode 10, 11, and 12." I feel like they, again, kind of like Star Trek. Star Wars should let go of all of that. But at the same time, again, but it's like, unless you're going to lean into, you know, if you're not going to lean into everything in regards to, let's say, what fans are wanting, which are the stories set with the characters from the original trilogy. If you're not, you know, doing that, then that's your problem. And I want to show you guys this to kind of back up my point. One of the things we've talked about a lot here over the course of the last few months has been the proliferation of Star Wars with AI content on YouTube and how that is blowing up. And Disney, surprisingly, normally very copyright enforcing Disney, doesn't seem to have much issue at all. And definitely, you know, like, doesn't seem to be upset with this at all. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you, because it seems like this is the one thing they would be going and absolutely trying to, like, you know, shut down, but they're not doing it. So this is the teaser, the announcement trailer for Beggar's Canyon.
Apologize for the lateness of the hour, my lord.
You've given him everything.
Never mind what Luke is reading.
And in return, he fails you.
Is the dark side stronger?
So right there, right? We're getting a whole bunch of Star Wars characters. We are getting a consistent narrative universe built out with all these guys. And I don't think this is the Star Wars Lost Legends. I don't think this is the one that right. Hold on, I'll show you guys this. So there's a couple of these accounts. All right. There's a couple of these accounts. This one here, they did Shadows of the Empire, part 4. Luke returns, Boba Fett secret, Sizor revealed. All right. And they're doing like, Shadows of the Empire. Another one did Heir to the Empire. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if these are the ones that did, there's another one that did Heir to the Empire. Another one did a full hour-long Shadow of the Empire. And I don't think it's these guys, because this guy's only done like the 6 videos and whatnot, and so like the Beggar's Canyon, then they did Dead Man's Run. This is the one that like, these are like what really looks good. I haven't seen the Search for Luke or this one all the way through. I guess it played, but I caught it. So I need to watch these ones, but there's the other one that does a lot of them. Am I subscribed to them? Let me see here. Where's my subscribers? Show more. I think it's like Star Wars. I don't have it. Oh God, why am I? Wait, I'm subscribed to Star Wars Theory. Ugh, no way, man. Why do I do that to myself? God. But no, Rational knows the one I'm talking about though. He sent me videos of that before, I think, right? So that was a while ago. But that's what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of the stuff that's going on. Yeah, I know. We all make mistakes. The trailers only quote Star Wars Theory, no one else to quote. Well, I mean, he is arguably still the biggest Star Wars channel on YouTube. And so having him come on in and, say that is going to be kind of a big deal. I think it's, what is it? It's Star Wars Lost Legends is what it is. Let's see here. I also want to show you guys Star Wars Lost. There we go. Star Wars Lost Legends. I am subscribed. Oh, it's just what the fuck? Okay. Oh no, that's what that's this one we're looking at. Is it Star Wars Stories? Hold on here. It was Heir to the Empire was the one. Okay, Star Wars Chronicles. This is it right here. How am I not subscribed to them already? Okay. Oh no, I'm subscribed on the other account. These are the ones that did Heir to the Empire Chronicles Chapter 1 3 weeks ago. I mean, like it's like they did, Shadows of the Empire, the full movie. They did the full Shadows of the Empire film, while the other guys are kind of also touching upon it as well. So it's just like different people are tapping in to different elements of Star Wars, and they're making that like they're just doing it with AI, and it's as this stuff is getting, better and better and better and better and better, right? Star Wars Chronicles. That's what I was just looking at, right? As that stuff happens, we're starting to see now, like, again, like this stuff is blowing up. These, just here, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let's give you an example. Okay. Look here at the vidIQ stats. All right. Like this guy's got, 118,000 subscribers. All right. And the last 7 days was 257,000 views. Average, video length is 23 minutes. And he estimates, $1,400 a month in ad revenue. Never mind whatever he might get for Ko-Fi over here. And if, you want to go and, I don't know if you can become a channel member or not, maybe not. But, this guy puts out a bunch of content and he gets a ton of views. And this is stuff that you would figure would be copyrighted. This is stuff people would, Disney would strike down, but they're not. Right? That to me is the craziest fucking thing, that they could strike this down, but they're not. And then that leads me over to some of the stuff that we're seeing today, coming out of what's known as, Seed Dance 2.0. They just released a new 4K model. So I just want to show you guys some of these, some of the stuff here. Also, by the way, good night, Mo. Thank you for hanging. And so, so this is just a clip. This is just a clip. I haven't watched this yet. I don't know what it is, but this is just like, that was 15 seconds. How much would that cost if that was a show? You know what I mean? Right? Like, how much would that cost if that was a show? Here we go. Well, let's see. Sea Dance. This is okay. Big wave surfing made with GPT Image 2 plus Sea Dance 4.0. I mean, holy shit. Like, that's pretty good. And they got the character sheet here, and then they got the little thing there, and that's a 4K little clip that they've put out. This one is, I'm trying to find some of these guys. Here goes a Fanta one.
Let's make today unforgettable. That's Fanta fun.
Okay, that one's not as good. There's a couple of here I'm trying to find. There's a lot of uploads, so it's kind of hard to go through. Here we go. Okay. This guy here, Sea Dance 2.0 4K available, whatever. Okay, I mean, that was interesting, right? Achieve vivid imagery down to the finest details. And they say cinematic quality. All right. Here we go. What is this? I mean, that looks real enough. Okay, like the fucking posters are a dead giveaway. You know, I'm trying to find, there's one that I'm trying to, okay, the world inside of a teacup.
As the years pass, our memories never truly leave us. Within every tear lives the child we once were. The moments that touched our hearts become stars that never fade. Love transforms ordinary.
Okay, see, the whole thing here with this is that it's just like, again, it's the best you're going to get out of a lot of this stuff is going to be what you got to put into it. And a lot of these guys, they're figuring it out. So they're just going to be blowing it on things like this that look like AI, that aren't going to live up to the to what it could be.
Stop the coach!
Well, hello.
Stop! All right. That's interesting. That's an interesting one there. Trying to find some of the other ones here. Sometimes it's kind of hard. We'll go top. Trying to find some of the more interesting ones that have come on out, but I'm trying to remember like which ones I saw that are definitely like the 4K ones. Here we go. The first version of brand new day 4K. Oh no, that's something else. This is an interesting one right here. This guy, he put this out a couple of days ago using Blender as reference and then Sea Dance 2.0. I mean, think about that, right? You'll be able, and this is going to be kind of what the workflow is. You'll be able to, do your previs work in Blender, and then you'll be able to put that into everything into Sea Dance, and then from there you'll be able to take it and make a big deal out of it. Here we go. This one. Okay, this is the one. This is shit. Okay. This is in the high definition. This is in the 4K, right? Just this is what I'm talking about. Like, this looks like a video game. It also looks like it could be a really interesting film. Really, like, it almost looks like a movie with, like, obviously with that painting in the background, but like, just like, it just looks fucking good. Looks really amazing. Let's see here. You don't think that Dave Filoni and Simon Kinberg should end the Skywalker saga on a potentially better note? I don't think they should. I think they should just let it be for like a long fucking time. Right? Trying to immediately go back and do more of it's not gonna benefit anybody. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think it's going to benefit anybody. If you don't give it time to kind of reset, especially kind of with like the Mandalorian and Grogu, maybe not doing as much as it could. I think there's just going to be, it might be time. It might be time. Okay, so let's check this one out here, right? So this is also using the C-Dance 4K side of it too, right? So this is there we go. I saw like the first 15 seconds of this. This has like a lot of No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky colors. Yeah, did I get your last super chat? Oh, right. Sorry, real quick here. What did you think of me telling you that a nuclear scientist didn't like the Oppenheimer nuke? I think that's fine. But the Oppenheimer nuke it wasn't a nuke. It was an atomic blast. It was like a 2 megaton blast, or maybe even less than that. So, it was yeah. But I mean, I remember what the guy was saying, and he was correct. Like Nolan went for the spectacle rather than the realism. And that's something that, James Cameron, when he does his Ghosts of Hiroshima, I think we're going to absolutely see what happens when that goes down. All right, here, let's take a look at this short, because this looks kind of No Man's Sky, like some crazy shit. This might just be like the same prompt run multiple times, stitched together to show different variations of what that monster could be, but it's like still, that's pretty cool. Like, okay, where's that guy's legs? Where's that troll's legs? Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, so these are just different variations of all that shit, right? Like that's all it is. Okay, so I mean that's not bad. It's pretty good, but it's kind of like he just ran a bunch of different. What the fuck? The side effects of watching Bruce Lee with your meerkat? All right. Timon, he's got some shit, man. He's got some fucking shit. Anyway, let's see here. Soka for 5, thank you, says, love the short you made. Wish you made more going into the lore of that short. Okay, so yeah, the short that I made. Not all of you guys were here last night. I guess I'll play it real quick. So this is a short that I did last night.
Will I be able to walk again?
Everything will be taken care of.
I love that ending. I posted that on Reddit actually, and I was kind of surprised at the response that it got on Reddit. So far right now, it is rocking. Bring that up there. Okay, so here it is. It's got 49 upvotes, which is nice, and then it's got 37,000 views, which is nice. And so, yeah, I think it's a cool little short. I'd like to expand the lore on that to talk more about what the exact Life 2.0 is and everything else. But this kind of gives you, I was kind of inspired by like a little bit like The Island, and then also the ending of One Battle After Another. I was like, all right, that's kind of interesting there. And it's like, that is something that like an authoritarian government regime would do, is trick people into thinking that they've won in order to keep hope alive. And then from there, they go out and they just actually, viciously murder the people. And let's see. Thanks. I wish it was longer. You can really flesh a story out. Yeah, the downside though is the cost value was a bit much. What I might do is expand upon it to give a better idea, maybe to explain more about what it is, and then use the open art has a director mode, which is pretty cool, and it will work with you to really kind of lock everything in and then go from there. It's because there's supposed to be a final shot that I just didn't render because it was supposed to be a minute long, but the final shot was the boat at sea, and it's just going to be them dumping the body over the side, like unceremoniously just dumping the body, like Osama bin Laden when he was killed. They just dumped his body in the ocean. They're like, nobody wants this trash. And they just kicked it off the side of the boat. That's like, I mean, I don't even think they put it in a coffin. I think they literally just like had it in a body bag and just dumped it over the side of the boat. Like just like threw it away like it was trash. That's the whole idea. And maybe I could turn that into a story. I don't quite know what the outcome of it would be. I really have like I have the hook, but I don't, in my mind, I haven't come up with everything else. But it's like, it would be definitely like someone trying to dismantle the system and then go from there. It could work maybe as a short story or something. But yeah, eventually maybe I'll be able to, and then I'll be able to figure out how to do it in higher quality, because that was only in like 480p is what that one was in. That one was not in anything higher than that. That was it was a lower quality, so I could at that point do more generations and try to make sure that it wasn't I wasn't wasting credits. This was a tester, but I burned through most of what I had. And that always kind of sucks, because that's kind of the nature of this shit until it's cheaper, which we don't know when it's going to be cheaper. I don't know. Hold on here. You befriend Jeremy Griggs and subscribe to Star Wars Theory. For one, I've been subscribed to Star Wars Theory for like years. I've just never unsubscribed. Fine. I have no problem with that shit. I absolutely will go unsubscribe from him. I'll do that right fucking now. Watch. I'll show you what I'm talking. I'll show you live. I don't give a shit. Okay. Let's see here. All right. There we go. Just for you, movie man. Just for you. Unsubscribe. There we go. Done. I don't care. All right. I don't care. Star Wars Theory. Look at this guy. Anyway, look at this. Like, he does like, I do lazy content. This guy does lazy content. George's show, right? Whatever, Palpatine Andor show is just live stream clips and shit like that. But like, he's got 3.29 million subscribers. And he's 4 days ago, not even cracking 100,000. All right. Right. Like, look at this shit. 6 days ago, 31,000, like he's just, this is literally his channel, even saying goodbye to Marcia Lucas. And that was a hard hit for all Star Wars fans. 32,000 views. The Acolyte talking about how Leslie, whatever the fuck her name is, Headland wants to do another season of the show. That's 103,000. It goes to show you that, like, quite literally, his content is nothing more than lazy rage bait. That's all it is. All right. Although he is calling out Jonathan McIntosh, which is fine with me because that guy fucking sucks. And this is his content now. This is just lazy content. And I say this as a person who makes lazy content. That's what it is. That's all he can do. So there you go. As for fucking befriending Jeremy Griggs. I have not befriended Jeremy Griggs. So that's pretty fucking funny. Anyway. So, all right. We're at an hour, 55 minutes. I want to kind of cut it down at 2 hours because I got to go back to work tomorrow. Let me check my schedule here. I know I start later in the day. If my youngest daughter is still sick, but my eldest wants to go and see, she wants to go see a movie tomorrow. Maybe we'll go see Supergirl. It's not selling. The tickets are still pretty open at local theaters. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. My schedule tomorrow is pretty light for work, so I'm not too worried about that. So any final questions or thoughts or comments, concerns, things you think I should know about, things you think I should talk about real quick, because I won't be back on till Monday. So let me know. Let me know, man. But in the meantime, what else is there? What else is going on? Was it Gendy Tarkov? Damn it, I forget. I can never pronounce his name. He's doing a Conan show. That's pretty dope, right? That's pretty dope. He's gonna be doing that for Amazon Prime. Obviously, this is coming on the coattails of the King Conan movie that's Christopher McQuarrie is putting together with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So obviously, we're getting a bit more out of that, which is pretty cool. I'm all down for more sword and sorcery after watching Masters of the Universe. It's very much something that I want to see more from. I think that movie, for one, is amazing. Let's see. At the moment, I'm leaving a comment on the video post today. Okay, thank you. Tartakovsky, thank you very much. Yeah, that video, by the way, Music Man, that video from earlier today, that was literally just kind of like an impromptu thing. Like my eldest daughter went to my dad's to go swimming with her cousins, and my youngest was sick and she fell asleep, and I was bored. And I'm just going like, all right, I'm just going to go fucking live. I'll try Twitter Space. That was literally from start to end. I didn't stop talking for over an hour and 4 minutes, and I had no plan. I figured I would just re-upload it to fucking YouTube, and you guys can listen if you want to listen to it and shit. Thoughts on the teaser for the film Digger starring Tom Cruise? Yeah, you know what? They're hyping it up. They're hyping it up in order to kind of make it like Tom Cruise's attempt at best actor. I need to see more. Sorry. Right. Like, the director of Birdman and fucking The Revenant. All right. You know what? I mean, like, it's cool. I want to see what he's trying here. Tom Cruise goes full 100% into these characters, which is awesome. So I kind of want to see what happens. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to like jump the gun here. I know Michael Mann had made comments about it, was saying that he had seen a bit of it that Tom Cruise delivers. J.J. Abrams was saying he's seen a little bit of it that Tom Cruise delivers. I think they're starting an Oscar campaign right now for Tom Cruise to get Best Actor. I think that's what they're attempting to do. All right. Like, that's what my gut is telling me, that they're trying to make that push. Now, I am fine with that. Tom Cruise is a good actor. He needs to step into some roles now that he's getting a little bit older, where like the action side of it's going to maybe take a little bit of a step back, but the dude can lean into comedy. He can lean into physical work. He can do it. All right. Like, I would make the argument that he's about as physically as physically active as like Jim Carrey. And even Jim Carrey is no longer as bendable or as energetic, but Tom Cruise brings that energy regardless. So it's kind of like, I think that's where he's at. He's like, maybe I'm not going to do the big action movies as much anymore. Maybe I'll do a couple of these smaller films where I'll actually act, Jerry Maguire, Vanilla Sky, Magnolia, things along those lines, which were, those were just films he didn't need to do, but he just wanted to act. And I don't think there's, because Tom Cruise is just a dude who loves cinema. Like, that's just the way it's at. Did I like Tropic Thunder? Yes, absolutely. Did I like Tropic Thunder? Holy shit. It's one of the funniest movies ever made. Am I excited to see the HD 4K, 6K, 8K restoration of Star Wars, the original theatrical version? I am very much wanting to see that. Yeah. Right now, Prime Day actually has a couple good deals. I was looking at, what was it? Boogie Nights 4K. It's like $12. It's not bad at all. Let's see. Jarbo, John Campea, and Chris Gore and Eric don't like Supergirl. Who's Eric? Which Eric? Who's Eric? You gotta tell me who Eric is. Don't like Supergirl, but I think the DCU is not dead. James Gunn is just beginning. Again, as I said at the beginning of this, is that it's all about the money. All about the money. That's all it is. The money's got to be there. If the money ain't there, then nothing's happening. Movie Manual says, I asked AI to write a romance fan fiction between Matt Jarbo and Harvey Cthulhu. And there's even a love triangle with Overlord, DVD, and Mikey Sutton to some comedic results. Well, one of them is dead and the other one's career is dead. So there's that. Well, hold on. I haven't taken a look here. What is fucking Gil up to these days, right? How is Doom Dick doing? I haven't even fucking looked, man. I haven't even looked in a long time how he's doing here. Let's take a look here, because it's like I forgot he even fucking existed. All right, 370,000 subscribers, 1,200 videos. All right, I get all that shit. All right, so 1 day ago, Doomcock rants about the dangers of AI. Have we learned nothing? This guy would be nothing without AI. All right, then he says Star Wars is in deep shit. Here's the proof. Hard data reveals the true extent of the damage. 2 days ago, 34,000 views. Oh, I don't want to click on that, you fucking piece of shit. Let's see. Supergirl may be screwed at box office. May bomb as bad as The Flash after Al Cox. Again, he's just writing that narrative. Disney CEO demands changes for Star Wars. Major shakeup rumored. Again, he's doing the big rumor shit. And then that's, again, 55,000 views, 8 days. So his content is still kind of good. And I don't want to say, sorry. Let me rephrase that. His content is still kind of doing okay, but not as good as it could be. Overall, I mean, like Stargate is down. Dude, Stargate's a massive topic amongst fucking right-wing grifters. Like the fact that one cranked, that's not good. Fucking Masters of the Universe review of that is really because he's criticizing the movie. And that is, a lot of people like the movie, so he's kind of on the backside of that one. A lot of people are kind of laughing at him for that, simply because he's entirely in the fucking wrong. And I want to show you guys one thing before I gotta go find it real quick, because I think what it is you've got all of these people that all exist in this world of rage bait grifting. That's what they do. They just rage bait grift. That's all they can do. They get mad over the simplest shit. And they really are just, they're insufferable cocksmokers is what they are. They're just insufferable, terrible people. Now, Eric Weber didn't like it. Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. Eric Weber doesn't like anything outside of the taste of his own dick. So, but this is Tom Connors, the other half of Midnight's Edge. And this is him going off about Masters of the Universe. I swear, this is one of the greatest crash outs I think I've ever seen. And the fact that more people aren't kind of laughing at him is kind of sad, but it's very true, because this man deserves to be mocked off the internet more so than like I ever would.
This was Masters of the fucking Blunderverse. This was Thor Love and Thunder times 10.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And anybody who says this isn't woke, they're lying to you. This is the wokest shit I've seen in years. Everything from insert the fucking Planeteers here to fucking toxic masculinity on this end. It's all here, kids. Every fucking color of the rainbow. My God, what have we done? Fuck you, Mattel. Fuck you, Amazon. Fuck Masters of the Universe. After Revelations, after this, we are done. Divorced. I am so glad I spent no more than $20 together on those fucking toys. You want to know why? This movie's not getting another goddamn dime of my money, nor is Mattel, for the rest of my fucking life. Done.
So heart disease will probably aid that along relatively quickly. But is he serious? I don't know. Knowing Tom, like, he's probably trying to do the same kind of grift that heel versus babyface did over the Starfield shit a couple of years ago. But it's like one of those stupid fucking things. You can see his anger is forced. Yeah. Well, he brings up this is the whole funny thing about this too. He-Man, hold on. Masters of the Universe Revelations, right? Remember that whole thing. So Masters of the Universe Revelations, they released it season 1, Revelation and Revolution. They had released the Blu-ray of it. And it went away, right? It sold out, and it was actually hard to find leading up to the release of everything. And so we found out is that it is actually getting reprinted and coming out next month. Right? So it had come out and it sold out. Right? This is apparently real bad. Both seasons of the Kevin Smith show, fucking terrible, right? Destroyed He-Man, right? All that shit came on out, sold really well. I should have bought it when I had the opportunity. It was like $20. I should have bought it. I didn't buy it. And then it's on sale now. You can get it like secondhand, I think, for like what's eBay got it going for? Because those prices are going to come down. But I mean, the whole point is that it got popular enough that it it ended up getting a reprint. Let's see, Revelations Blu-ray. All right, yeah, here we go. Like you can see here, look, all right, on it on eBay right now. You see this guy's got it here for like $40. All right, marked down from $48. This guy's got it sealed for $80. Like $80, right? So all of this physical media shit, $70, $80. These are all going to go and get and I will say this, if the movie did better, right? If the movie actually did better, then it would probably end up getting more, more money, like, from those. Like, I think people would probably end up buying those more. You know what I mean? If they were rare. But the thing is, like, they're not really that rare, And then I don't know about you guys, but I went over to fucking Amazon and I pre-ordered my copy of Masters of the Universe, the 4K, when that's coming out on home video. I love this goddamn movie. I think it's fucking amazing. So, if anything, the chuds have lost because the fans have shown up and been like, this is actually a good movie. We want to see more from this film. We're talking about it all the time. We're pushing it. So not only are they re-releasing Revelations and Revolution, those two seasons, they are putting out the original animated series from the 80s on Blu-ray in a collector set. They are, I think, re-releasing maybe the 2010 or 2003 show. Okay, like He-Man toys are coming back. People are buying He-Man toys. Those fans are buying them. So what we're seeing is, again, maybe not a massive resurgence of He-Man fans, but you are finding He-Man fans, and you are finding, He-Man, like, new fans, right? Is it enough to like give us a new movie? I don't know. Is it enough to move the needle? I don't know. But what I do know is that those fans exist and they're showing up in whatever capacity that they can. But it requires a lot of other people to kind of like do the legwork. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be the ambassador. Do I think that Josh D'Amaro will allow more physical media to be released? I do think so, yeah, because they need to make money. There is money to be made on home video. There absolutely is. So I'm not worried about that necessarily. There's a lot of money to be made doing that shit. And so I guess my last question is, I asked this kind of last, I think maybe, like, can you guys hear my fan going? I'm just kind of curious. Because, like, I hear it, but it's on. I just don't know if it's for the last 2 hours. You guys have been hearing that in the background. Yeah, so Spherical Man here, Tom did not like the movie. He probably does. He probably does. I mean, I watched the thing. It's fucking amazing. Now I'm just waiting to see if, like, Supergirl fucking, like, leaks onto the net. Because I think that's going to happen pretty quickly. And I think that's how a lot of these chuds are going to watch the movie, is they're going to be like, fucking, they're going to want to get their hands on that. That way they can at least go, I've seen it, without Ashley paying for it. Oh, fuck yeah. All right. And apparently the Sheep Detectives is now available on Amazon as well. So if you are wanting to see sheep protect, whatever it's called, the Sheep Detectives, which I hear is quite good, that is currently available on Amazon Prime as well. And I don't know if it's available, if you have to rent it or not. So we'll see. So, all right. So no one is giving me the answer back on the other things. Okay. I think that's probably fine then. Which is fine. Cool beans. Okay, so I'm going to fuck off. I will see you guys next week. Have yourself a great weekend. Go see some movies. Let me know what you guys think of those movies. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.